Again, everybody, go to the website, acy.capital. You'll be greeted with what I'd like to say is a beautiful new landing page. And, I'll get started here with that website update. And I will preface it by saying this is just the first of many rollouts of what is an entire rebuild of the ACY.capital website. This is to be done in an effort to package ACYC in a very beautiful, easy to read, concise package. When you come to the landing page, it should be very navigable. It should have all the information. It should help you understand ACYC. And so that's what this update is so far. It's the first step of that. This is the first step of many. This is not the final iteration of the website. This is, again, just the beginning. But you should see, we have a whole new engineering team that's been very hard at work, working on the back end, working on the front end to bring us this. Our design team, as we've talked about before, ACYC is a big group. There's 25, 30 of us working. And so, this is one of the things that the fruits of that labor from everybody working on it. So we're very happy to bring you that new website. There are going to be some errors, of course. There will be some things that don't load. We're going to be rolling out updates for the next few weeks on every part of the website, finished lastly by the dashboard, which we are going to be rebuilding completely from the ground up. There's a lot of data incongruities on the Ethereum network. Data availability is historically garbage. And so we're going to be making a lot of our own solutions to that in-house. And that just means a lot of time, energy, effort spent on bringing you guys a beautiful product. So that's the intro to this, is enjoy the new website. And I certainly am right now. If it's not working, refresh, reset, clear your cookies, clear your cache, open up a private window, open up a new browser, again, acy.capital, and you should see the new website. So, that's where we'll start here. Again, the rest of the website will be coming out soon. So I guess somewhere to start next to that is with the market. And, as everybody knows, the market the past few days has been pretty dismal. And we always talk about how at ACYC, our job and our goal is to be as prepared and ready as we can be for any type of market, bull or bear. It's our job to be yielding, and that is what we're doing, to say the least. Before this happened, we've had some turbulent times in crypto before this last dip. As many of you know, we experienced quite a significant dip in Ethereum and Bitcoin across the board a few weeks ago, where ACYC, we had open short positions that did very well. And as we came out of that, many people thought the market was looking up. The market was looking great. If you read our last farming report on our Medium, which is accessible through our website, you will know that we actually reopened our shorts at that point. So when everyone went long, ACYC went short again. And sure enough, here we are a week or two later, and the markets are bloody, and our treasury is filling up nicely from those short positions. And that just goes back to, we have a best-in-class team of people with, a high level of experience navigating all sorts of markets, understanding market conditions, where things are going. And, that comes to fruition in moments like these where other people may say the market looks good and we know what we're expecting to see and we're able to capitalize on that. So you can thank our master farmer, Uncle Pennybags, for opening up those positions and being able to capitalize on, on these bloody market conditions. So that's been great to see the results of that. Again, we do our monthly report on our finances, and that'll be in the next report for sure. So Nate, if you're around, I'd love to hear your take on the market. Tell them what you think.
Yo, how does it sound?
Yeah, you sound all right. A little choppy, but okay. Yeah.
Still sound choppy?
Sound a little better, yeah.
Okay, let's give it one more try. Sound bad? Decent?
No, you sound good. You sound decent, yeah.
All right, Cool. So let me see who we got in this space. Sorry, guys, just popped in. I got a Tesla recently, and for the first time, I came across the scenario where irresponsibility led me to almost having my car die. So I hijacked some other car's charger, and everything's good now. Literally just got fixed like 90 seconds ago. So finally here. Happy to be here. Happy to be in spaces. Loving the weekly fat. Usually I don't flip throughout the week. I don't flip flop week to week. I flip flop during the week, and then I go back to my original thesis. And so, I like this. It gives me time to collect my. For anybody who listens, let me see if we have some NFT people or if we're mainly investors here. I still sound okay.
Yeah, you sound all right. A little choppy here and there, but I think
All
the
right,
message is getting across.
cool. So yeah, and I just put out a tweet if anyone wants to like and retweet it. Just tweeting out our space. Uh, and like always, everything here is recorded. You can go back and listen to it again, or listen to it in the future if you can't make the current space. So that's a big benefit to having them here. My current take on the market. If you're in our ACYC Discord, you'll see that we have an Atlas bot, and that's our NFT fund. It basically shows when we sell something, we sell it for. And you'll notice that, it's been active and alive these last days. We've been cutting positions that aren't performing, and we've also been taking profits on a lot of positions that are in the profit. If you scroll up, you'll see a ton of plus, zero point 0.5, plus 80s, plus 2, plus 4 ETH, plus 6, plus 6. It just, it seems like we're actually just farming money off of trees. And most of those big gains were 3 days ago, a couple days ago, when the market was absolutely just overheated. And I even tweeted out, I said, you could literally hear the music stop in real time. Uh, on that, people had time to sell their positions in massive profit, even after I tweeted that for probably about another 4 to 10 hours, maybe 12 or 24. And it's just being in this space where you can kind of see where top signals are coming. And when I say top signals, I don't mean macro, which is long term. I mean micro, which is short term. I mean micro top. Like we obviously had a micro top a few days ago. Azuki, for anybody who's familiar with uh, NFTs, Azuki cannot go from 1.5 Ethereum to 15 Ethereum in a couple weeks and stay there. It's just by the laws of all that are NFTs, that's not allowed. This 10,000 piece collection, or even if it's not, even if it's 8,000 piece collection, you have so many people who are wildly in the profit. And they're just riding the ride up. They're not thinking about taking profits. And what happens is the sales start to slow and people realize, hey, I'm up a lot of money. I should probably realize some. And realize means to sell. And so they start selling, or they try to sell, and then they get undercut by someone else. And when you're so wildly in profit, if you get undercut, you are in a position to undercut the person undercutting you. And maybe the person undercutting you actually bought the top and is trying to minimize their loss. And so you get in a war across all collections when all collections are up 3 to 10x in a month or so, where people who just got in are, if you're buying the top, I'm not.
We lost him. What he was going to say is, the people buying the top are, trying to cut their losses. So they're going to undercut just to get out of their position. And then the people who bought the bottom have no problem whatsoever, undercutting as well. You back, Nate? We lost him for a second. Let me re-invite him as a speaker. But what you can see is, across the board, you're seeing this in all collections. So, a collection like Azuki, where everybody's holding something that they got between 1 and 3 ETH pre-reveal, they're happily going to sell that at any point under 15 ETH. Sweet. I'm just going to try and get Nate back up here. Looks like we lost him. But yeah, so that's what you're
Yo,
seeing. You're seeing a lot of
can
that,
you hear
and
me?
as he was, yeah, yeah,
Yo, my bad.
yeah, I hear
Somebody
you.
called me, and it cut me off.
You're all good.
What was like the last thing I said? Did I say the dumb money thing?
No, we were just no. You didn't talk about dumb money. We were just talking about how floors go up, and people who bought the top undercut, and people who bought the bottom
Oh yeah,
undercut.
and then basically just to finish that up, like if you're buying the top, I'm not going to call you smart money. I'm dumb money. If you buy the top, you are dumb money. And no offense to please, no offense to anybody across the board, but people tend to be more emotional. Uh, in just in general, the dumber you are, the more emotional you are. And if you're getting undercut by someone else, you're going to get upset and you're going to undercut them. And in liquid markets, that's how you get a race to the bottom. That's how you get Mutant Eight Yacht Club going from 28 Ethereum to 20 Ethereum in 24 hours. That's a minus 40%. That's how you, it's like minus 30, 35. That's how you get Bored Apes going from 120 to 100. That's how you get Punks going from 87 to 68 in just a couple of days. Is too rapid of a movement, too overheated, and that's why you saw us selling a bunch of our NFTs. Currently, I don't want to like lie to anybody. Like I don't know what happens next. I have a feeling what happens next in NFTs, and that's why you'll see that we've been selling stuff for marginal profits, 2 3 ETH, that have gone up a little bit more afterwards, but usually they come back to the point we sell. Is we're playing it safe, like we said in the last space, wealth retention. If we can secure a gain, we're going to secure a gain. Nobody ever went broke securing profits. And if we're talking the current NFT space, personally, my belief is we have another leg up. And that's the last leg up of this cycle. I don't think this is going to be any different. I don't think this is a long-term bull. It's going to be here for months and months and months. Every celebrity that has one, there has an NFT pretty much at this point. I mean, every celebrity that wants an NFT at this point has one. And Super Bowl's around the corner. People are expecting that to be a pump event. We got the 8 token. For anybody who is invested in NFTs, my personal belief is once the 8 token for Bored Ape Yacht Club releases, about a week or two after, that's when you want to sell every NFT you have that's not CyberConks or something that you don't mind holding to zero. Because what's going to happen when the 8 token releases is you'll have that'll be the first time or the first time in a long time where a bunch of NFT holders are given something like 8 token, and people who don't hold NFTs are going to buy it. And what that does is inject money into the NFT community. So they're going to be indirectly injecting capital into the NFT community by buying 8 tokens. So people who normally not buy Bored Ape Yacht Club Bored Ape Yacht Club will speculate on the 8 token, buy the 8 token from Bored Ape Yacht Club holders, and those holders will then go spend that money on other NFTs of the Think Will Moon. In reality, they're going to be buying the top, and you should be selling into it, and you should be sitting on the sidelines. We talked about in the previous spaces, meme season around the corner. And like I said, there are timelines to this. I didn't say meme season next week. I didn't say meme season this today. I said meme season in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And the next 2 to 3 weeks from when I mentioned that is this week or next week. And we're already seeing it started. We have tokens like Shib Doge that did a 7x in the last 14 days. We have token like Cheddar or Cheddar that did a 50x in the last 2 weeks. And we're not talking like micro cap. We're talking like tens of millions of dollars of volume a day. You have tokens like Shinja, another meme token, 6x from the bottom in the last 2 weeks. So that's just like the start of the meme season. But I'm not saying that the meme season's here this week. I'm not saying it's here next week, but I'm saying that we are focusing our efforts on looking for validation of the meme season starting. So if I see any of like the blue chips, which is like in crypto similar to Bitcoin or Ethereum, if you saw Bitcoin or Ethereum moon, that would be a signal that you can buy your alts. If I see Doge or Shiba moon, or if I see Floki moon, I'm going to start buying the lower caps. We'll let everybody know when we're doing it. There should be enough volume for anybody who wants to follow to make money. But if that doesn't happen, then I'm expecting something. There's always a bull market somewhere. And if the bull leaves NFTs, it's going to go somewhere. So if it's not memes, it's going to be DeFi. And so if we need to put more money into DeFi, let's put more money into DeFi. But we're going to be looking for the next play. And that's why right now we're trying to stay pretty liquid in our NFT fund. We have one last I wouldn't say one. We have one major last calculated bet that we're going to make. I'm not going to mention what it is, but if you see my post history, you can kind of guess. It's not cyberkongs, but we are invested in cyberkongs. And after that, I'm just going to be looking for quick flips. I'm not going to invest a ton of money. And that's just pretty much my market thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, as Nate said, if you take a look in our Discord at our Atlas sales bot, if you run the tally, we've put up well over, somewhere between 60 and 70 ETH within the last week or two, just trading. And that comes from catching fresh mints right out of the gates. It comes from, strategically buying dips, all of those efforts. And, be it a 0.2 profit or a 2 ETH profit or a 6 ETH profit, we're here to capture all of that. But we're reading the writing on the walls. We want to be liquid. We want to be prepared for the next big thing. We have a few more plays up our sleeve at this point before we really unload into the meme season. But the general principle, as always with ACYC, is to remain risk adjusted, to have money in all different markets, and to remain yielding always. So our shorts are totally printing, making a bunch of money. Our NFTs have been printing, making a bunch of money. We're going to be going into meme season with a big bag of ETH ready to deploy. And also, if you noticed, we flipped a few of those V1 punks for anyone who knows about them. And now we're flipping a V2 punk. We have a real punk that we picked up. Again, that's just making a strategic bet. As Nate said, you see something that's gone from 89 ETH, down to 68 or whatever it is in just a few days. You want to buy that blood. And that's what we're doing. And I think, we're going to flip that. We'll make a nice profit. We're going to roll those profits into other things. And again, all of that goes right back into our yield farms, into our, Ethereum shorts. And we're up significantly there. We must be up 30 to 50% in the, month and a half that we've been actively farming. So, we're just taking great profits from NFTs, from crypto. We're compounding that in yield farming. And then, we distribute that out to you guys. And as we've touched on before, this is phase one of ACYC, and this is Treasury growth. Phase one is focused on Treasury growth. So phase one is not focused on consistent reflections. But as you can see in the new website, again, acy.capital, we mentioned, that ideally, once we are in full swing, once the Treasury is $100 million, we'll be able to consistently farm and return somewhere between $125,000 to $250,000 of profit every single day in the form of ACYC tokens to holders. So it becomes sort of a nice flywheel at that point where manual reflections are consistent. But right now, our gains are focused on, gaining more, having a consistently growing treasury, building that wealth, meeting those targets, and positioning ourselves really well to continue to do so. So yeah, we will, we'll keep playing NFTs. Of course, we're going to keep playing all the markets. We just want to be in the best position to do so. In light of that, Nate mentioned on another space the name Mimas. And as many of you know, we name our algorithms after the moons of Saturn. And Mimas is the newest one of those. And so Mimas is our early entry minting protocol. And if you've been paying attention to the NFT markets, you'll know mints right now have been going crazy. We've seen fresh mints pre-reveal, going anywhere between 3 and 6 Ethereum consistently. And that's just amazing. And so the same way that we have Pan during the coin season buying new tokens, Mimas is here to be buying new mints. Because, right now we've actually, we flipped Pan from bear market mode. Even we've just flipped Pan mostly off right now. There are times where we see the market heating up and we'll bring Pan back into operation. But if you go look at the live DEX tools, largely it's not a profitable market for tokens right now for new launches. And we're always, adjusting our strategies to account for that. So we've invented the Pan for NFTs, and that is Mimas. And so we're proud to announce that Mimas's acquisitions will be archived under the Atlas NFT fund. When you go to our Atlas NFT collections on the dashboard website, just Mimas's wallet will be, summed in there, and you'll be able to see the contents of that. So we're very excited about that. That's what I can say about Mimas. There's so much to be said about these types of markets. The idea is, we use our experience in the space, our knowledge of markets to sort of sense what's going on and take some steps to get ahead of the trend. So that's why, as Nate said, you might see some positions that we cut and then they go up 2 more ETH, but they really tend to come back down. And that's, it doesn't matter. You're making money. Profit is profit. You're never going to time the tops. If you come out positive, if you're making money, and that's our goal. So Nate, I don't know if you want to build on that some.
No, I think that pretty much sums it up. We had Pan and we still have Pan, and Pan will make us more money in the future. But at the moment, uh, there like no new tokens are being released that are going to the moon, and so Pan is turned off. In light of that, we have Mimas or Mimas. Mimas is our NFT version of Pan, and Mimas will be here to snipe new listings that we believe are worth sniping. Not new listings, new mints. And so, as long as the NFT market is irrational and people have the vision of the moon, Mimas will be operating to, snipe those new mints. But, don't try to imagine like us sniping like 100 to 500 mints of projects, because that's physically not possible with like the current meta. The current meta is whitelists, and so like even with cool pets, I'm sure somewhere around 7,000 whitelists of the 10,000 available. So the only 3,000 or 2,000 will go to the public mint. So it is competitive, but this will be our way to extract free value from an unrational market and return it to our treasury, and then later on our holders. So yeah, Pan's down at the moment, but in the future, when the crypto markets heat back up, we'll turn Pan back on, and Pan will make us as much money as Pan had in the past. But at the moment, Mimas will be the one to do that for us. And all I can say is, Boggart, you've done. People can't really see, but Boggart is on the ACYC Capital page, and Boggart's done one of the best jobs I've seen at sourcing talent. The people working on Mimas, the people working on Pan are like unmatched. And when I say unmatched, I know people who are just as smart as them, and the only reason I know them is because they are the people who are working on Pan and Mimas. We source them out from other projects. I won't say who. At the moment, our devs aren't doxxed, but they're doing insane things. To compete with them would be a suicide mission. To try to copy what we're doing would be a suicide mission, unless there's room for all to eat, which in all markets like this, completely unrational and so much profits to be made, there is room for everybody to eat. And that's what we plan to do. That's why we're switching from, and we like you said, like I said in December, we're switching out of crypto and we're moving into NFTs. And now I'm saying that we're keeping our eye out for the meme season, because there are so many signals that the meme season's here. But if that's not the case, we're looking for where that bull market is. There's never a time, in my opinion, or from what I've seen in the past, unless we're in a macro bear, where there's not a bull market somewhere. And it seems like the NFT market's fading, tapering off, and we can extract easy profit as we are. But to get those ginormous wins, we need to find the raging bull. And unless we can confirm that it's about to happen again in NFTs, then we're keeping our eyes out for whether or not it's DeFi or whether or not it's memes. My personal bet is on memes. There's a lot of catalysts going into quarter two for memes. But if that's not the case, then we are hedged properly. We are in Ethereum. We are slightly in NFTs. We are farming with large amounts of capital. And we are exactly where we want to be to set us up for the next wave. And like I said in the past, our current plan is we have one last giant conviction play that we're going to execute on. And then after that, I can't say what the future is for NFTs. And we'll hold our long-term, we have a couple long-term holds, CyberKongs obviously, but everything else we will cut at a loss or at a profit, and currently pretty much all of it's in the profit. Boggart, did we mention the numbers yet?
I touched on that we put up 60 to 70 ETH profits alone in the past just 2 weeks, and you can see that in Atlas. What I didn't touch on is with Mimas's first run, for anybody who was paying attention to the markets, there was the mint called OX Apes. And so to give you an idea of the type of profits that Mimas can make, OX Apes were a 0.05 mint. And at their peak, they reached, I think, a 0.7 floor. So, that's a That's a significant gain. That's a 35x or something like that. But anyways, if you take 5 ETH in Mimas and you mint 100 of these, and then it reaches a zero point 0.7 floor, you're now sitting on a stack of 70 ETH. So, as we said, Mimas is the pan of NFTs, and OX Apes was our first execution of Mimas. Very, very successful to say the least. Again, in the future, as we build out the dashboard, Mimas's wallet will be integrated, so that kind of stuff is visible. For now, it hasn't been. But safe to say, the NFT market has been very fruitful for ACYC.
Yeah, exactly. And when Boggart says we're up 70 Ethereum in the last 2 weeks, we started with 100 Ethereum in the wallet. Literally, actually, we're about 2 months and 4 days into it. So in 2 months, we've turned 100 ETH into 100. I don't actually. That's not correct. We've turned 100 ETH into roughly 190 from my calculations after we take final profits. So almost a 2x in 2 months off flipping NFTs, which 2x in NFTs doesn't sound great when you're talking about seeing 10x all the time. But with a large amount of capital to do it safely, to do it in a way where we're not taking giant L's, we haven't speculated. We've been doing what's safe. We've been doing what we know. And like I said, we have one last conviction play that I believe will be a combination of Mimas plus market buying. And I also want you to picture one thing too. If you ever had that mint that you wanted to mint, and it seemed like it was gone in a second, for example, the Adidas drop. The Adidas drop had like 10,000 for mint, and it was gone in 15 seconds. You lost to flash bots. Same thing as what Mimas is. You lost to the bots. They give you a max amount that you can buy. You can buy 5 per transaction, and you cannot physically read the data like these bots can. And I'll call it a bot because it is a bot. It's a bot. It's not an algorithm. It's a bot. And we have one of those bots, and it will continue to make us a bunch of money. We didn't really need a flash bot for competition in OX Apes, but we didn't actually need to watch the mint. We just inputted what we wanted, and we had it. We didn't have to worry about anything, and we'll continue to do that in the future for these upcoming mints that we're targeting. And it's dog eat dog world. If you want to create a flash bot and try it, good luck. But or you could just invest in ACYC and make the profit with us. And one of the biggest part about ACYC that I want to mention to everybody too is, we have connections across all boards. Like, it's so hard to be a lonely trader. To be a lonely trader is to pretty much just incur all work and success and losses by yourself. We have people whispering in our ears 24/7 saying, "Hey, look here. Hey, look here. Hey, look here." And we really do write down everything they say, and we touch back on it. We do our research. We do our due diligence. And we like to think that we have people smarter than us giving us hints and giving us insightful details to then grow our treasury for our holders, because these people who are whispering in our ears and these people who are working with us, including myself, hold ACYC. So it's for the benefit of us all. And this is probably one of the best opportunities for people who are new to NFTs, new to crypto, new to anything, or people who don't want to do the trading themselves to get exposure to all of that through a secondary project. And that's pretty much the last bullish thing I have for this space. It's just it's become so clear that there's a lot of dumb money in the space, and no offense to anybody, it's easy. Like when I first started, I was dumb money. I was the one buying Ethereum at 1,500 before it crashed to $80. But I educated myself along the way, and dumb money has to lose money to smart money, and we will take that money from the dumb money. And if you think you're the dumb money, feel free to buy ACYC and ride alongside us.
Yeah, and I think Nate touched on something really important, which is leveraging our connections in the space. Nate and myself are both super well connected, and many members on the team, all throughout the NFT space. And leveraging those connections to give us an advantage over the market is absolutely our priority. We're always looking for that edge, and our connections enable us to have that. And that's not replicable. That is unique to us, and that's proven in our performance. So also, in light of that, what we've started to do is we've actually brought on a whitelist advisor, and his job is to find ACYC whitelists and get us those opportunities for the Atlas NFT Fund. And what we'd also like to announce is that there will be a slow rollout of whitelist opportunities for our alpha holders, which is holders of ACYC greater than 200 million. You get access to the alpha room, and pretty soon you're going to start having access to some whitelist raffles because ACYC is getting them for Atlas, and we want our holders to get them for holding ACYC. And that also takes a lot of the guessing game and a lot of the hard work out of making money in this market, especially if you're not as comfortable using your funds and taking those risks. You can grab ACYC. We can take those risks, make those educated bets for you, and also provide you with opportunities to make money right out of mints. Because as we've touched on several times, basically every decent mint right now has gone parabolic after mint out. And like Nate said, in many cases, there's no opportunity for people in these markets anymore. It's not a humans game sitting there trying to mash the mint button when things are minted out in 5 blocks of when the release is. It's just not feasible. So we're taking the edge. We're doing the work. We have the people building, so you don't have to. We have Mimas operational, which we're very excited about. And again, that gives you access to those tools that would otherwise be, entirely on you to create, to fund, to test, all of those things. ACYC is doing it. So to get exposure to these markets, to get exposure to those tools, it's as simple as, buying ACYC, holding, sitting back, and reflecting those profits. And again, I love to mention, we don't just make these profits and then distribute it right out of the gates. We compound, we leverage by pushing that into yield farming with our amazing farmer Penny, who, like I said, his sense of the market is uncanny. When everyone else went long, Penny went short, and he knew. And it's the same thing with the NFT market, where Penny can read the crypto markets or the macro scale, and Nate is an expert on the macro scale and the micro scale and can make trades. We can then use tools like Mimas to take advantage of the market on a large scale. So
yeah, and can I just add one thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
The best part about the blockchain is, how well do I sound right now? I think I'm on my phone or my car.
You sound great. You sound beautiful.
All right, cool. The best part about the blockchain is you don't need to take our word for it. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Penny's my really good friend. I did not know how much of a god Penny was at trading. I did not know how much of a farming wizard Penny was until Boggart suggested bringing him on board. And then, for the first time in a long time, because to me, Penny was just a god NFT trader. He would mint a shit ton of stuff that went to the moon and sell it at the moon. I did not know that he was so deep in the farming, and I go into his Etherscan, and if you look at the moves he's making, like, this man does not lose on a weekly time frame. Like, he might lose for a day, but he does not lose on any weekly time frame. And he's proven it with our treasury stack that we've thrown to him. Like, we want to throw more money at him, as much money as we can, to yield us safe returns. And if you also want to look at his NFT moves, absolutely, like I said, god tier. He doesn't sell at the exact peak, but he never sells too late and he never sells too early. He makes a shit ton of money. And I kind of want to roll that into the next thing. Can I mention it, Boggart?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so like we've always hinted at, we have a lot of conversations going on with investment funds, 7, 8, 9-digit investment funds. And talks are going really well. Like, when I say really well, I wouldn't say really well unless they were going really well. And what I just mentioned is we want to throw Penny a bunch of money, and we're looking towards these people to throw us money to throw to Penny, and myself included. But these people have nodded their head in agreement, and that's all I'll go with in that lane. And on top of that, I don't know if we've touched on the Alpha Pass at all.
Yeah, I touched on the Alpha Pass and some upcoming whitelist opportunities for them.
All right, cool. But did you talk about Alpha Roll or Alpha Pass?
Oh, I talked about the Alpha Roll. Yeah, I haven't touched as much on the Alpha Pass.
Okay, cool. So for anybody who's not aware, there's a bunch of NFTs out there, thousands, like a 1,000-piece collection to 10,000, as far as I know, where you get a Discord role or you get into a Discord and it gives you some alpha information, some insights, some analytics, which is really what you need to not be the dumb money. They're charging out the wahoo. And like I said, we have some of the best developers. We've developed Discord channel that is, far better than any pass that I've bought and checked out. And we'll be releasing that. And like we've said before, that money will also go into the Treasury to then fund more money to make for our holders. And patent collection is, underway. Everything looks beautiful. We're talking with Penny about some, staking mechanisms that we can use for that to increase yield. And I don't want to really go into any of the new future mechanics that we're going to work towards. But the main picture is we're looking for a cash or liquidity injection, and like I said, heads are being nodded yes. And the larger our treasury gets, and the more we continue to show that we know how to make money with money, yield more coins with our current capital. The larger our treasury get, the more holders we'll get, the more we'll yield, and at the end of the day, the more we'll profit. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up in this space too before we look past that, because kind of a big thing. It's it's kind of like a domino effect too. If you get one fund, one prominent fund to say yes, and you go to another fund, which we're in conversations with more than just one. Hey, they're contributing this at this, etc., etc. How you feeling? Or do you want to join in? This is what we've done for them in the last week, month, whatever. It's just a snowball effect. The 10 million quarter one's definitely happening. 100 million by the end of the year depends on the market. If Ethereum and Bitcoin go, down 90%, we'd be lucky to be at a 2x, which I expect us to. But if we crab, I expect us to be closer to 50 mil at the end of the year. And if we go to the moon, I expect us to be 9 digits for sure. With the infrastructure we're setting up, we don't have to rely on any markets. We don't have to rely on if we're a DeFi yielding protocol, if everything's so volatile in terms of just straight down. We don't have to rely on going into stablecoin farming or whatever for 30 or 60% a year, because that's not going to get us to 100 mil treasury. And so that's why we built out NFTs. That's why we built out new listing bots. That's why we built out everything. Is any market condition we will capitalize. We will have more manpower and computer power than any other project of this nature. And if somebody wants to copy us, that's great. But to continue to go forward and to continue to add more ways to extract capital from other markets, it takes minds like the ones we have behind our project. And I put my cards right here in ACYC, and that's pretty much all I have to say about our future going forward. We have Clerk up on the stage. Clerk, how you doing?
Hey Nate, why you keep flooding my Azuki, man?
Bro, I have to fudge your Azuki pretty hard, because I mean you didn't buy the top. You're not the dumb money.
Yeah, I didn't buy the top. I buy the rare ones. Yeah, that's niche play, of course. But I agree with most points that Nate point out. I think as you've seen in the recent run for NFT market, I think the run has been very fast, very quick. Part of it contributed by basic liquidity, in my opinion. But across the board, I think everything really going fast, and sustaining it might be hard, especially with recent means that keep going above 1, 2, 3 ether a piece, and that's been sucking the liquidity out of the market, right? But the market itself needs some healthy corrections, and ACYC I think have the position very well positioned to capture those wave, right? Going up, we will be doing well. Going down, we will keep getting into those pockets to make profits. And the key that links everything in ACYC is how we actually are related with one another for so long, that we have working relationships, community relationships, and that's what keep the machine going, and what's building trust and keep us heading forward. I think that's cool, and really excited with ACYC going forward, and all our strategy, all our trading strategy methods and everything that we have been shaping so far. and yeah, excited to go with everyone here.
Yeah, that's great. I think something good to touch on, Nate was kind of talking about it. We're not just we're not a farming protocol that's going to, take some stable coins and toss them in a frax pool and lock them up for a year and get 40% APR. A lot of places are going to be doing that. A lot of places are shifting into stables for that. And there's nothing special there. Anyone can go do that. What we're going to try and do, and what we are doing, is positioning ourselves to take advantage of these markets in ways that would be, inaccessible, unavailable, or too risky for the average person. But we're able to do effectively, because of our connections and, our acumen in the space. And that's leveraging the community, as Clerk touched on. That's leveraging our connections to people, our understanding of the markets, our understanding of projects that are coming. It's really, ACYC is fully leveraging all things in crypto, as you can tell from our new website, again, acy.capital. It's the biggest profits in crypto wrapped in a one coin. That's ACYC. So, I think we did a good job there. I would be happy to take some questions, Nate, after you have anything to add, if anything.
Yeah, let's take a couple questions.
Yeah,
Request to be a speaker. Oh, what's up,
It's been very lovely as well, it's been very lovely to see how our treasury and how our value creating strategies keep catching up with the market cap, right? The market cap keep adjusting, but our treasury keep growing. So a lot of exciting opportunity there as we talk about price action.
Yeah, definitely. And, ETH might be going down, but our balance of ETH is going up. We're long-term bullish on Ethereum. And so our priority is stacking as much as possible, in all market conditions.
Yep. Keep multiplying those Ether, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right.
One more thing before we take questions. I wanted to touch on something that Clerk said. We have pretty much, this is, I've laid out, I know there's a lot of NFT people in this space. I see a lot of profile pictures that are NFTs. One of the biggest indicators that we could have 10x our treasury easily if we took extremely bullish short-term positions on a lot of projects. But there's so much worrisome indicators in the NFT market right now. We're entering the waters that have never been paddled. So I just want to lay this out for anybody who's new here or who hasn't really had this come across their mind. Is 3 months ago you had cyberkongs. This might not be exactly accurate to 3 months ago, but I'm talking about near the last peak, maybe 3-4 months ago. You had cyberkongs at 100 150 Ethereum. You had Bored Apes at 50 Ethereum. You had punks at 100 Ethereum, and then all you had was cool cats at 10 ETH, and everything else was under 10 ETH. Now you have Kongs at 100, Bored Apes at 100, punks at 80 or 70. You have Azuki at 15. You have cool cats at 10. You have doodles at 15. You have mutants at 25. You have dogs at 10. You have etc. at 10. You have etc. at 10. You have etc. at 10. You have so many high prices that it's almost impossible to sustain so many high floors. The main point of that message was 4 months ago, there was 4 main projects above 10 Ethereum. Now we have 20 projects above 10 Ethereum, and well above 10 Ethereum, such high floors, like none other. You have projects coming out of mint that are starting out at 1.5 to 3 Ethereum. That's absolutely unheard of. There's so much, and this is an illiquid market. At any moment, things could go to zero. They don't go to zero, but they could, because as long as there's if there's not a buyer on the other end, your NFT is worthless. So there's so many inflated prices across so many collections that it's almost, at this point, worrisome to try to juggle all of that. And that's why, we didn't go extremely bullish on so many things. We hit some calculated bets like we will, because the gains you're seeing, the gains we just hit over the last 2 to 3 weeks or 4 weeks or 2 months through NFTs, the little 2x or whatever, we can do that for the next 2 months too. We don't need a bull market. We could do that in a sideways market because we're taking calculated bets. At any moment, everything can go to zero. We don't want to be the ones holding the bags. That's not our game. That's not our play. And for anybody who's listening, this is some new mindset to have. If you're new or you're old, maybe you've thought about this, maybe you haven't. Yeah, so so many unsustainable floors at the moment, but it could go higher. Things are dumb. Things are really dumb right now. It could go higher. I'm not saying this is the top, because it definitely isn't. And if anybody has questions for ACYC, NFTs, and anything in general, request to be a speaker. We'll bring you up. And I just wanted to lay that out there, because I know people are going to go through this recording of a space. It's probably going to be like an hour and a half space. Easy listen, easy, alpha mindset going forward. And I get a lot of DMs. Should I sell all my NFTs? The answer is no. Just don't be 100% NFTs. Don't be 80% NFTs. Don't be 60% NFTs. Like, don't do that. if you're the person who they're saying, oh, did you buy the dip anon? And you said, how do I buy the dip if I'm all in already? Don't be that guy. Be the guy who can buy the dip. So we're going to bring up Arnold, Hammer, Joe, and Ivan. We'll start with...
I'm trying to bring up Arnold right now. I'm going to bring up a few people. We'll see who makes it to the stage first.
Yeah, I know Ivan requested first. It just kind of hit him. So
okay.
Ivan, Ivan, you want to go first?
Yeah, this is a question. Maybe it's a bit of a request, actually, which is Nate, the way you're talking about macro cycles and kind of like, hey, you might want to look out for this, or maybe this. Here's what to look out for when the NFT market is like this. I wonder for the Alpha Pass, if ACYC could provide some sort of like weekly newsletter or something that just lays out, here's what you really need to be aware of in the market cycle. Because as I have exposure to several alpha communities, and I know for myself and many others, it can sometimes be hard to see the forest through the trees. And there's a lot of value in having the kind of stuff you're saying in this space, which is like, here's the big picture to know about. And I'd love for ACYC Alpha to provide that. That'd be really cool. So I'm curious what you think of that idea. And
I think that's what we're I think that's what we're aiming towards. Analytics mixed with expert knowledge. So also, like, if you see my tweets, like, I kind of tweet as things are happening. So like I tweet like, yo, maybe get liquid, and if someone got liquid, they could be buying the dip. They had time. I'm sure that when we release those...
Nate's getting rugged by spaces, but I can answer that too.
You hear me?
Yeah, our Alpha Pass. Yeah, I hear you now. Go for it.
Yeah, I was just saying that, like, we will keep you up to date on the cycle. Like, we won't say like this is the top or this is the bottom, but we'll say think about this, because like I have always been looking for a way to educate people who want to be educated, because my biggest headache is when I see like these new like scammy NFT projects like mint out that are obvious cash grabs, that are obviously running 10 projects at once, and I just can't help but think that we're surrounded by dumb money. But I've realized that like I don't want to look towards the dumb money. I just want to find the people who want to be smart money and help educate them and help them help themselves. And so the alpha channel will be from my interpretation, key insight data to help you make smart decisions, to help you follow smart money, to save you time from having to stock and track all this data yourself, as well as like key knowledge. Like, we'll never say sell everything, but we'll say think about this, think about that. Like, I will definitely lay out my mindsets as I go along with NFTs and crypto and everything in general, because I think people need that. Like, I follow Keyboard Monkey sometimes, because when Keyboard Monkey is ultra bearish, I look at the charts and I go, am I bearish here? He's a smart guy. He makes a lot of good calls. Wow, what's Keyboard seeing? And I think that's kind of what we're aiming for too. Like, knowledge to, you trust this person to make a decent call. You trust them to be, right more than 50% of the time. And I think, I like what you're suggesting. I think you'll see that in the alpha channel for sure.
Sweet. That's great. That's my only question, so I appreciate it.
Ooh.
Yeah, thank you, man. I'm going to bring up Hammer now. Hammer, if you're there.
Yes, thank you. What's up, everyone?
Hey, man. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, man.
Yeah, so I got into ACYC to get some exposure to your guys' DeFi plays. It's just not my area of expertise, and I know that I listen to your strategies, and I definitely just believe in the bigger picture. When you started to trade NFTs, like I appreciate like there's so much opportunity to flip and make money, and that's obviously like a strategy, another type of coin that could lead to capital yield. So it makes sense, right? My question though is like, does ACYC intend to take any like longer positions in NFT trades specifically? And like one thing you brought up with NFTs is sustainability. So like one of the projects that looks to me like it has the most sustainability, like their token has the most sustainable liquidity pool, which I wanted to ask you about, because from my impression of your tweets, I think you may have had some bias against Beanie. But as of right now, this new VC money has basically made it possible for them to completely remove Beanie from the cap table, and that his role has been replaced by these two venture capitalist firms that have an extremely extensive history of investing success. And I look at it like, okay, these guys are putting in $100 million. They're making $100 million bet into this. And I looked into it and I was like, okay, I can understand why. And I've been there from the beginning. And so I'm wondering, like, at this stage, Nate, what's your take on that? And have you considered using any of this capital to kind of go long on a more blue chip type of project like that?
You're talking about Meta Heroes, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about Meta Hero, PixelVault.
Did two venture capitalists come in and inject 100 mil?
Yeah, so basically this firm called C Venture, uh, uh, Velvet Sea Ventures, and then the other one is 01 Advisors. So 01 Advisors is two headed up by people who basically like started up Twitter. Okay, so these guys ran Twitter, the CEO and COO of Twitter from when it started into like the early mid, like about 2007 or so. And then the other one is just this guy. Like, if you look at his track record, like, I mean, he hit on everything. Like, we're hitting right now on NFT project. This guy hit on Facebook. This guy hit on Snapchat. This guy was just like boom, boom, boom. So we're talking about professional investors. These guys are freaking pros. Okay. And they put in $100 million to basically, you know, get Beanie out and then make the connections that are necessary to realize like G-Funk's plan of like making decentralized Disney. So like I've personally taken, just disclosure, like, look, I've taken a pretty good position on this. I trimmed it a little bit just because the market didn't really like appreciate this yet, and I want to stay liquid. But I'm super long. And I'm wondering, just have you looked at this? Did you have bias against Beanie? Now that he's out, does that change your opinion on it?
Yeah, definitely had bias against Beanie. Now that he's out, I had no idea that that type of level venture capitalists are involved in the game now. I'd have to do more research to see what their long-term mission is, because like my issue with this is, Beanie has always been like a House of Cards type dude. Build a giant house of cards that could tumble at any moment. And it kind of did when, Punk's Comics went from 17 Ethereum all the way down to like 3. Uh, and now that he's out, I would the answer to that question is, now that Beanie's out, and you mentioned that, I would look into it. I should look into it. I will look into it. I've noticed that PixelVault heroes or meta heroes have gone to like 5.8 Ethereum recently. And I had biased, even more biased after the token dropped, because these dudes raised $40 million and added no liquidity into the pool. And
Yeah.
yeah, I watched it drop from $40 all the way down to like 4 cents or something, 4 cents or 20 cents, maybe, yeah, around 20 cents. I watched it drop from $40 to 20 cents. And when I say $40 to 20 cents, I don't mean like over a year, I mean over 2 days. So that's absolutely incredible that these dudes didn't add any liquidity into their pool. Legally or not legally speaking, they should have had something planned before they did that, because they wrecked any future investors. But like I said, that's serious business to back up your backing with that much capital. And I should look into it more, because from my interpretation, it was just Beanie trying to pump so much money into the PixelVault through the Planet DAO, and I hold a bunch of Planet DAO things, the planets. I should look into it more. I've noticed that it's been getting some volume, and I'm glad that you came up on the stage and said that, because that's the type of thing where, what you just said, I can tell you've done your research 10 times more than I have, maybe even 100. And so now my head's turned toward that direction, and I should see if there's something longer term there, because, these guys who bet on Facebook, these guys who bet on, Uber Snapchat, they didn't bet on Uber Snapchat Facebook with a 10-month or 5-month time frame. They bet on it with years. And so if they think they can turn PixelVault into something big in the next 4 years, obviously not Disney in terms of parks, but Disney in terms of brand, then I would love to say that we were smart enough to put some capital there and let it sit. And like I said, if we have 10 mil at the end of this quarter, if we have 100 mil or 50 mil at the end of this year, then we should be taking some longer term positions, such as Meta Heroes, because you got CloneX going to 18 Ethereum, and I think Meta Heroes are still at 6. So even that comparison, I like the PixelVault team way more than I like Artifact, RTFK. So thanks for bringing that up. It's in my head now, and I definitely will look into that, because if all of this plays out, then they're extremely undervalued at this point.
And I will add to what Nate is saying and say we do take longer bets. Like as Nate touched on, we've liquidated a lot of our portfolio except for CyberKongs, and that's one where we're extremely bullish long term. And it is important to remember, even in a bear market, there's going to be things that go up. And we are placing our chips in certain bags where we think that will happen. And so, yeah, taking something like what you're talking about and digging into it, doing the research and making those long-term bets, we'll only be doing more of that with time. But we have already done that, with a couple items.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And I'm not as familiar with CyberKongs. I kind of missed it. But like one thing that might be a parallel, like you talked about the LP, and what the thing is a lot of these projects that either are talking about having a token or currently have a token, at the end of the day, like those tokens don't have liquidity. There's a lot of little projects that like you got these tokens, there might even be a liquidity pool available. And if you try to go convert your tokens into Ethereum, you'll crash the pool. It's not sustainable. There's not enough liquidity. But one thing that's been proven with PixelVault and is basically like these LPs that they set up, they have liquidity and it looks sustainable. And that's like one huge differentiator in terms of like a DeFi play in NFTs from a lot of other projects. So I appreciate the time. I will step down. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Let's take Arnold up here, Chef, if you were
Hey,
there.
hey, hey. Hey guys,
Hey,
thank you
Chef.
for bringing me up. I've got a quick question, right? With ACYC, and I know that you guys, I've been friends with you guys, and we've been chatting. Uncle Penny, Nate, Bogart, and everyone here, they know the market so deep. They know when to sell, and they know when to stay liquid, and that's no doubt they are god tier traders. Bogart and Nate, I got a quick question. Would you do ACYC to cross chain, for example, to Solana's NFT, near protocols, or AFAX in the future? Because the way I see it, right, with this whole NFT and the whole L1, there's gonna be segmented, and they are, I mean, it can go 100x, like let's say with the token itself and the NFT itself, because they are still new and early as Ethereum's kind of at a peak. What's your thought on that, guys?
Yeah, I mean, we're very, we've always said we're here to capture profits in all markets, and that's across all chains, across all tokens. So currently, there's been that big exploit with Solana that happened, to use that example specifically. But that's not to say that we're not examining those options. It's just, there's less liquidity, there's less volume in those markets. The profit margins are by percentage similar, but you're dealing with a lot smaller amounts of capital. But that's not to say we're not going to capture those markets at all. We do have plans to move into those markets and other coins, be it, farming, we already do cross chain. But as far as NFT goes, we're definitely going to be taking advantage of that.
Yeah, I'm just adding to that. I think when we talk about layer two, it's all covered, with Penny, with all of our farmers. But when we're talking about another chain, while we understand the opportunities there, and it's a very big opportunity, we might have to find the right guy for us to finding the driver to navigate us in that new market. That will be the most important thing for us. So yeah, I think we should be talking with Arnold about Solana investment as well. Well, in the future maybe.
Oh wow. So should I send my CV somewhere to you guys?
That's right. There is on our Twitter, there is a contributor submission form. And, we know
Uh,
you, so we can talk to you personally. But for anyone else that's interested, if you love Twitter, if you're a Twitter guy, you can contribute. You can put your name in. If you love farming, if you love DeFi, if you love trading NFTs, whatever it is, if you feel you can contribute, there is a form on our Twitter page that you can submit through. So yeah, we're definitely interested in all options.
let's go. No, because I do believe with even though it's at a lower volume compared to ETH and other, I think L1s, NFTs, and projects are still new, and the gain can go big as well. But we're not talking about short term. We're talking about long term, right? I mean, eventually all of these L1 and the NFTs and stuff like that will be segmented to certain markets as per use case in a global scale. So yeah, let's go.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. And we're definitely looking at that. We appreciate you coming up here.
No worries. Thank you. I'll step down. Cheers.
Sure. Yeah. Job, you've been up for a while. Let's take you up.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, hear you great.
Okay, great. Hey, thanks Bogart, Nate, and team for the updates and the information. Always, good to listen in and get the latest information. Truly appreciate it. Curious, just kind of thinking about the ACYC Treasury, about 3.2 mil versus market cap about 17 mil. If you can give any insights as to these external investors, kind of how they're looking at that and whether they're kind of making a play at trying to get some sort of discount, something closer to Treasury with their investment. Can you add any color?
Yeah. So basically, everything that we do is to the benefit of our holders. The end result is how can we make our holders reflect harder? How can we take these markets and do that? And the same thing goes for direct investments into ACYC. And so what we like to organize with the deals that we're making is both direct contributions to the Treasury as well as introducing new holders. So, we don't want somebody just investing in our Treasury and pulling capital from there. We want them to be holding ACYC tokens too. We want people to be incentivized to add value to the protocol. So as far as external investors go, you can be sure that yes, they will be directly injecting funds into the Treasury, but they will also be directly injecting funds into the market. And we can do OTC deals, but we encourage and push market purchases because, as everybody knows, 10%, the full 10% tax on purchases gets reflected to all holders. So we're much more bullish on our holders reflecting. And so rather than doing an OTC deal where we give our tokens to an investor and get ETH directly in the Treasury for that, if we can, we would ideally like them to be purchasing at market, fairly. So that's to the benefit of everybody.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Bagger,
Yeah.
can you also touch on how the direct investors will benefit from contributing to the Treasury? That type of reward on their side?
Yeah. So for anybody interested in direct Treasury investment, there will be a vehicle for that kind of attached to the Alpha Pass, but it's going to be structured similarly to how we are doing, deals with investment funds. And basically the way that works is if you're contributing a percentage of the Treasury, then there will be Treasury distributions that you are getting, that you are getting a share of proportional to that percentage that you allocated. So if you contributed 10% of the Treasury value directly to the Treasury, then in that first distribution, you would get 10% of that part of the distribution. And it's to the benefit of holders, of course, because the Treasury is larger, so the distribution as a whole is larger, where there wouldn't be an investor before. The holders would get a smaller share than even with the investor getting, directly investing in the Treasury and then getting a distribution themselves. So as an investor in ACYC, the token, you benefit from the larger treasury and larger reflections from there. And as an investor in ACYC, the treasury, you get direct, safer investment into the treasury and distributions from that. Because as we know, and as is reflected, the treasury is not indicative of the market cap, and we are trading at a much lower NAV multiple than I think any other farming as a service, or as I like to say, investing as a service protocol. We're trading at a much, much smaller multiple, which is great. We're super bullish on it, and investors are super bullish on it. It shows how undervalued we are. But token price can fluctuate when you have shifting markets like this. Before we get our flywheel going, before we have $100 million treasury buying ACYC tokens and reflecting those to holders every day, we're a little more subject to market conditions. And so as a holder of ACYC, you experience that and you are reflecting through all of it, and your balance is growing. So if you're long-term bullish on ACYC, then it doesn't matter what the market cap does. But that being said, as an investor, having an avenue to put funds into ACYC that is just more reflective of our performance trading, that's the mechanism that we would like to introduce. And as I said, there will be means for that, for everybody to do that at scale. And that is what the Alpha Pass, the Alpha Pass is the Alpha Pass with the Alpha Room, but it's also going to be a means for that type of investment from anybody at any scale. If you want to contribute 1% of the treasury, great. If you want to contribute 25%, great. The pass is going to be structured in such a way that it allows you to benefit in the same way that I'm describing. So sweet. I think that was good there. We'll take. Looks like we have two more speakers. Just V, Sunglasses DeFi. And after those two, we will close up the spaces. So I'm bringing you up, both of you, whoever gets here first, we will take your question. Sweet, Just V, you're up. If you're there, feel free to ask your question, Just V. Otherwise, Sunglasses. Go for it. Yeah, Sunglasses, if you have a question, feel free to ask it. And otherwise, I will bring up two more speakers whose microphones might be a little hotter. Sweet. Nolan, if you have a question, feel free to ask it here.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
I hear you great.
Cool. Thanks for bringing me up. So quick question in terms of deciding whether to reflect versus reinvesting what would otherwise be reflected to holders. And this might be a contentious question to ask, given that I know we all love reflections dearly. But when I see you guys crushing it, whether it's on NFT buys or DeFi trades or anything like that, I would assume I'd rather you guys continue to reinvest profits or what would otherwise be reflected to me in the form of ACYC and just continue basically building the equity value of the token. Because to me, that's more intuitively sort of valuable. And when people are trading on the open market, they're seeing the token. And if they see it as a token that really accretes value as an equity token would versus something that pays dividends in the way that ACYC does as it reflects. I'm just curious how you guys think about that trade-off, especially given I think everybody in the community does have a lot of faith in the team, in Pan and the rest of the algos in generating a nice ROI on investments that are made. Is there a way in which, I don't know if that goes to a community vote or if we can sort of elect to have our reflections reinvested, or how you guys think about that? Just curious to hear.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And so we love to hear this back from the community. It's actually, a few weeks ago, we sent out a 20 ETH reflection. And while the community, we hadn't sent out a manual reflection in a while. And of course, while the community was happy with that, the large majority of the community was like, well, we want that. We want funds reinvested in ACYC. And so I kind of touched on that earlier in the spaces. We're at phase 1 in development, and that is focused on treasury growth. So we're leveraging everything we can do to grow the treasury to then eventually reach that point where we can be reflecting daily. So, at this point, manual reflections are sparse. We're doing that intermittently because the focus is on growing the treasury. So yes, we could take 20 Ethereum of the profits that we've made, buy tokens and reflect it, or we could take that 20 Ethereum and turn it into 60 and, get closer to our goal. So, that principle definitely resonates with us. That's definitely where we're at this stage in development. This is, phase 1 treasury growth. This isn't, phase X daily reflections, which we will get to. But the faster we grow the treasury, the faster we get there. Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. Sorry, I wasn't here earlier when you guys must
Oh, no,
have
you're
touched on
totally
that.
good.
But
Totally
yeah,
good.
I think it sounds like others are aligned, and that I think people are bullish on the teams and the algos and the strategies ability to navigate both bullish and bearish and sort of everywhere in between kind of times. And the dividends can come later. But it's exciting to be sort of getting the ROI and the with the team's wisdom as we go to build the treasury. So I appreciate you taking the question.
Yeah, thank you.
I also want to say really good question, Nolan, too, because as Bogger said, like, that's something I've realized too is I have actually never seen in Discord somebody say when buyback. I've never seen someone say when are you guys gonna buy back with profits. I think everybody has the same goal. The quicker we get to $100 million treasury, the quicker everybody becomes filthy rich. So good question. And, in our structure, for anybody who's not aware, the only thing that actually accrues buybacks, so when we make money on Atlas, which is our NFT trades, all the profit goes to the farming treasury. When we make money through Pan, all the profits go to the farming treasury. When we make money through Mimas, the NFT mentor bot, all those profits go to the farming treasury. And then from there, whatever profits the farming treasury makes, 50% of that goes to holders. So if we're making more outside of farming than we are in farming, none of that is going to the holders. All of that is going to farming, so then we can make more to distribute back to holders. But as Bogger said, I don't think 20 Ethereum buybacks, I don't think 50 Ethereum buybacks are going to, make any holder happier. I think getting to that $100 million treasury and everybody seeing those 200 or 150K buybacks every single day, I think that'll make people the most happy, and we are positioned very well to make that.
Yeah, I think that was great. I think that's a great way to put that. And we'll take a few more. Muktasar, if you have a question, please. I'm going to add a few more people here. Let's see, GNFT, if you have a question, the cool Galaxy Fight Club.
Today, I have a quick.
Oh, sweet.
How does reflection work in terms of how is my balance growing? Are you guys manually sending the tokens to us, or is it some sort of contract mechanism?
So it's very interesting. We have a wonderful code, and the way that reflections work, SafeMoon pioneered reflections, but they had an inflationary token. So while the balance of your tokens grew, the balance of tokens in circulation grew as well. So, you could actually lose money even though you have more tokens. ACYC, we created the first, and I think still only, truly non-inflationary reflections-based token. So there's 1 trillion ACYC tokens, and there will never be more. There's no burn wallet. And the way that reflections work is there's an automatic reflections mechanism where 10% of every single buy is distributed to every holder. And this doesn't have to happen in an Ethereum transaction. You actually don't even see it on chain. Balances are just adjusting all of the time. And then we have a manual reflection mechanism that we created that's totally unique to us that allows us to take ACYC tokens, send them to our contract with 1 transaction, and then our contract distributes them the exact same way, where everybody's balances holding ACYC increases. So we've actually distributed over 800,000, I think over $850,000 worth of ACYC tokens manually through this mechanism. But it doesn't take gas besides the 1 transaction. It doesn't even show up as an incoming transaction. Your balance is literally just increasing all of the time.
Okay. Just to follow up on that question, what happens if you're doing it manually, and then let's say you're doing it in a month's time, there's no advantage in buying today versus the 31st of the month, right?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
If it's not reflected automatically on a daily basis, and then it's done manually using this manual mechanism, it's like people buying at the very last minute before the reflection happens get the same advantage, right?
Of a manual reflection, yes, but we don't do manual reflections on any set cadence or schedule to sort of exactly avoid that. We don't give people the opportunity to buy in and front run our manual reflections. But also to be said, you know, the amount of reflections you get from a manual reflection is proportional. It's pro rata to your holdings. So even if you had 1% of ACYC, which is a ton of tokens, I mean, that would be a fortune right now, 30 to 50 ETH, I think. You know, a 1% reflection of 300K would be 3K. So it wouldn't really be in anyone's advantage to buy in before a manual reflection. The real gains are to be had by compounding those reflections by sitting on a stack of ACYC over time.
All right, sure, thanks. Gotcha.
Yeah, sure thing. Mook Tasar, if you're here now, you're still on stage and we would love to take your question. Otherwise, I'm going to add sunglasses back on. These will be the last three: sunglasses, upside, and big dog.
Hey, can you guys hear me okay?
We hear you great,
cool.
man.
Thank you for having me on. My question is pretty straightforward. So when it comes to new holders buying into ACYC, typically the first and primary aspect that they look at is the coin price. So I've been in ACYC during the early days, saw it go up to about 50 million, dropped down to the low 20s, it went back up to 40, and now it's hovering around 16 million. What would you say to potential new holders who would be concerned about the current price of ACYC coin? I mean, I understand the attractive quality of the ACYC Treasury that you guys are building, the reflections, but to be honest, the first thing most new holders would look at, it would notice, would be the current price of the coin. What are your thoughts on that, and do you think that will go up over time? Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So something I sort of touched on before that I can echo now is how bullish our Treasury NAV multiple is to our current market cap. None of the other people in the space are operating at nearly such a close multiple. So the price that we're at is extremely bullish. And what I always say is, you know, the lower that the token price is, while our Treasury stays the same, the more and more undervalued we are. So as a value investor, if something I'm holding and that I believe has value gets cheaper, I buy more. You know, when I bought Bitcoin in 2017 and it tanked, I bought as much Bitcoin as I could because, you know, the value of Bitcoin only increased even though the price went down. And so it's the same thing. We're big proponents of dollar cost averaging. We're not saying toss your full stack in ACYC. We're always saying, you know, take smart bets, put a little in over a long time, and that'll allow you to compound, reflect, and take advantage of any dips or gains that there are in the interim.
Yeah, and I'd also compare us to other, because we are in the DeFi realm, I compare us to other DeFi protocols as well. When we launched, or right before we launched, Ohm was at, which is a leader of DeFi, Ohm was at 1,300. Now Ohm's at 60. Ohm is down 95% from its all-time high of like 2 months ago. Butterfly is like at $500. Its all-time high was like a month ago of 4,000. So it's down roughly, 85%. And we're only down like 50 something percent, and we're in the DeFi category. Just about every other project in the DeFi category is down as much, if not way more. And on top of that, we've actually, through this, like, most protocols that I've just named aren't making money aside from the money that they're taking in from their current holders or future holders buying and selling. We're one of the only protocols I know that have netted as much as we have in comparison to their treasury size. So when I say that, like, we hold about $1 million of ACYC, maybe a little bit more. We've been working with about $1 to $1.5 million of Ethereum or liquid assets,
and there's not a single other DeFi protocol that has had the same percentage return over the last month or two in comparison to how much they've been investing. So nobody said there's many winners. Nobody's grown their treasury outside of just sales volume and token trading volume and staking volume than we have. And if you look at our chart, it kind of shows that our holders aren't dumping. And when I say that, like, yeah, we've gone from 40 or 50 mil down to 17 mil, but at the same time, Ethereum's down 30 to 40%. So on top of that, like our current price, if Ethereum was at the same price it was at the all-time high, would be roughly like 26, 28 mil. And then on top of that, people are uncertain in the market. They'd rather just have liquid. And our real, our core holders, our core everybody, it's shown that they're DCAing, it's shown that they're holding, it's shown that they believe in the long-term vision. And, some of the other charts just look like literal falling knives. And when I say falling knives, I mean, you try to catch that knife, your hand's getting stabbed and it's going lower. Ours is kind of staying stagnant. And if anybody knows how to, not how to, but if anybody's looked at charts and you look at ours on a long-term frame, we are like, we are in literal consolidation. We are ranging. People who are holding have, they've had their chance to sell at 50 mil the first time. They had their chance to sell at 40 mil the second time, and they chose not to. And it's shown that they're not selling the bottom either. It's shown that they're in this for the long run. And for anybody who wants to jump on board, you're not late, and you're also like, you are early, but there are people who have been earlier, and they've been reflecting up and down. Like Bogart said, we've reflected almost $1 million in ACYC. So those people who have been holding have been, taking in some ACYC. But yeah, so for anybody who is looking at our price and saying, oh, I know they're not saying it. I know this isn't being tweeted out. I know this isn't me talking behind closed doors. But if anybody was looking at our price right now, I think if they went to the second layer, peeled it back a little bit and looked at our performance numbers and looked at like how we've been building out our platform and how we've been building out our team and our processes, I think they would, initially say, oh, wow, let me go do some research on the competitors and see that the competitors are literally in shambles. As everybody's seen, time is like collapsing as we speak. One is, another big DeFi leader. And we're over here, like literally all huddled in a room saying, hey guys, we're doing great. Hey guys, we're doing great. This is amazing. Like we have no rainy days. The token price isn't reflecting exactly what we are, building at the moment. But I can confidently say when we were $50 million and we only had like 800K on our treasury, that was inflated. It wasn't purposely inflated, but that was heavy speculation. Now we've got, almost a 3.5x the treasury, and we're down 50 or 60% from that price. That's a buying opportunity, and I think anybody would be smart to start building a position or DCAing here. And as I've always said, don't full stack it. Like, don't put 10% of your net worth in ACYC. But like, if you're already 10%, do it. You're here. But I wouldn't suggest anybody open a position with 10% of their net worth. I would suggest, do what smart people do, 2%, 3%. We dip a little bit more, do another 2%, and then max yourself out at 10%. And then just hold for the long term. We'll be here building value. When our treasury is at $50 million, if we're somehow still at a $14 million market cap, you better believe we'll market buy tokens to reflect our treasury to market cap. So if you believe that we can get to $50 million, if you believe that we can get to $100 million, then our market cap should reflect that. And once we're there, then let these speculators come back and let us hit $1 billion, let us hit $2 billion, let us hit $3 billion, and let our true reflectors and holders shine through. So buying now is basically you saying that you think we can get to 10 mil, 100 mil, and far beyond Treasury.
And I will.
Sorry.
I just want I will take you up in just a second. I did just want to add one last thing. It's when we're at 500 million market cap, does it matter if you bought in at 16 or 20 or 8 or 10? Not really. It's arbitrage at that point. So if you're long-term bullish, you DCA a position, and wherever you get in, it's good at scale. And that was it. And I'd love to take your question upside.
So, hey guys, I got this alpha back in December and grabbed it and I've just been hanging on to it. And I really honestly stumbled in here wondering kind of what I'd invested in. I know that sounds foolish, but it comes from someone that I really trusted. And it wasn't that much. So I want to say that yes, my wallet has exploded. I'm just constantly getting more coins in there. Obviously the gain isn't there right now, but I can see that the value is there long term. So for anyone that may be wondering, is it legit? I definitely am getting, my wallet has definitely grown. So I really have, after sitting here listening to everything, I'm very impressed with what you've got set up and what you've got going. Definitely feel better about where you're headed, and I look forward to the ride. So good job, guys.
Well, thank you. We really appreciate that, and we appreciate you sticking
Thanks.
through it. You know, through the ups and the downs, and reflecting all the way.
That's right. You know, it was nice to be in early, and I definitely look forward to where you're going with this Alpha Pass on the next stop. I'm gonna dig in and find out where you're at.
Yeah, thank you. Love it. And I think that's just about it. I'm not seeing anyone else raising their hand, and don't want to keep this. We don't want to get this to a 2-hour space. So I think we're going to call it here. For anyone who has any more questions, there is a YouTube channel. This will be uploaded there within the next 24 hours for you to catch up on this spaces. Every previous spaces up to now is also there. Almost all of them have timestamps, so you can get caught up. Timestamps will go up later than the video. We just want to prioritize getting you guys this content, and we appreciate you guys tuning in. I don't know, any closing remarks from Nate, Clerk? Go for it.
No, I'm just pulling up to my charging station, so perfect timing for me. For those listening, I think this is a good turnout. I think Thursdays are probably going to be our thing. You know, it's not Friday, it's not Saturday. I think we have a lot of people who can attend on Thursdays, and this weekly format I'm really liking. You know, we're able to relay a lot of information at once and keep it interesting. And like I said at the beginning of this space, all of these spaces are recorded. You can go through our previous spaces on our ACYC Twitter. All of them are recorded. And if you feel like, you know, this space didn't bring you up to date, there's new information in every space that we haven't talked about, and the following spaces to go over. Usually we try to keep them about 40 minutes to an hour. They've been leaning towards the 40-minute side. Today we just went a little bit further because wanted to, you know, get a little bit more in depth. So yeah, go listen to the previous spaces. If you ever miss a space, feel free to go back and listen to it. We also post them on our YouTube channel, and other than that, I think that's good.
Great. Awesome. Yeah. Let's end it here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Great spaces, and until next week, everybody, happy reflecting.